Hello and welcome to this episode. Sitting here kind of makes me feel like a news anchor, and I'm not a news anchor. I don't think news anchors have fight dudes and microwaves behind them. Sorry for all that, by the way. This is just the best lighting I can get in this space and the best sitting, comfortable position. So please bear with me. Um, Yesterday was Father's Day. Well, it's actually Father's Day today, but I'm gonna release this the day after Father's Day on the Monday. So happy Father's Day to the fathers today. But as far as this goes, happy Father's Day yesterday. Happy belated Father's Day. But in any case, some people are probably gonna see this at some point in future on a random day. It's not gonna be Father's Day, but I just want to extend my appreciation to fathers and try to maybe have a little bit of a talk about fathers and what that means to me, and such. So for me, I have a great father. I have an amazing dad. He has a lot of kids. I think we're about to get a 12th addition to our family now. I didn't always know them. Most of us have different mothers. I do have my sister from my mother, and sisters I stay with with her here. What was I saying? The sisters I stay with here both share a mother, and there's other brothers and sisters all over the place. And for a long time, I didn't really like. Well, I've loved my dad always, but I didn't like that part of him. That part of him just going around everywhere and having kids. And I understand. I mean, it's misguided, and I think where we are right now in the world, there's just too much of a external influence that does not really allow us to follow in on the traditions that we have as Africans, but also on the morals and the conviction to do the right thing. And of course, that's going to be a topic for another day because I'm not out here trying to talk about polygamy and monogamy and all type of relationship setup because this is Father's Day, not Husband's Day, Boyfriend's Day. So I'm just going to talk about him in the context of a father. Of course, there's a lot of kids all over the place, but looking at all these kids, my brothers, my sisters, I can see that we all have a love for our father. We all really appreciate what he is. Of course, the little girls, when he's there, yeah, dad, I want this, yeah, dad, this, yeah, dad, that. But then it's gotten me to understand the relationship that exists mainly between a girl and a father. I've been able to see that. And I've always wanted a daughter. I still want a daughter. And I see the sort of relationship, the sort of love that a girl has for her father. And that has taught me just by watching, just by observation, what sort of father I'm going to have to be to my kids. But also, I guess the things that my dad isn't, I'm also able to learn from that to say, okay, this part, I think he could have done better. He should do better. And I pledge to myself and to my kids in future that I am going to do better because of the number of kids that my dad has had has. I've always not been a fan of having a lot of kids. I think mainly because I've seen that there's quite to an extent some suffering that exists from him not being able to be there always for some of the kids, especially the girls. And I'm gonna keep mentioning the girls. I do have a soft spot for girls, probably because I grew up with my sister and my mother. But I do have a soft spot for them, and I guess maybe also because I want a daughter. Like I really want a daughter. I think seeing the void that my father's absence has sort of left in their lives has sort of made me want to be present even more. But still, I look at the relationship that exists today between them, between my dad and between my dad and his daughters. And it's amazing. They just have nothing but love for him. They praise him. He is everything to them, even though he might not do everything they wish. And that's something that I'm going to cover a bit later. They still see him as the king of kings. He is no one out there. You can buy your daughter whatever stuff you buy your daughter. You can do anything for your daughter, but they're never gonna see. Maybe they will at some point, but I don't think so. They don't see it to this day. They don't see a better father than their own, and I guess that's really the case with a lot of people. I think most people do see their fathers as their best fathers, just as they do see their mothers as their best mothers. And I guess that's just a result of the attachment, the bond that one has with their parent. And I think that is lovely. And that's been my experience with my dad. That's a guy who I've always looked up to. He's always believed in me. I haven't disappointed much. I've had failures, I've had struggles, but he's been there. He's supported me. I guess being the eldest kid, for him, I'm his pride perhaps, and I see that and I appreciate that. And me having this huge family with these kids has really helped make me the man that I am today. And me having him as a father, having him as an example, having him as a role model has helped shape the man I am today. And I'm not blowing my own horn, but I do believe I'm a great man. I do believe I'm a great friend. Whenever I date, I'm a great boyfriend. Whenever I'm gonna get married, I'm gonna be a great husband. And whenever I have kids, I'm gonna be a great dad. And I believe that I owe most of that to my father, and I love him for that, and I appreciate that. I appreciate him. And I think there's just a whole lot of confusion, a whole lot of misconceptions about what being a father is. And I think a lot of that is being influenced by Western media, what you should be. And there's a lot of toxic requirements that society, and more specifically South African society, seems to have not only on boyfriends, but on fathers as well. And I think that this takes away from the possible relationship that men could have with their kids. And I think I'd just like to address that so as to try and get fathers to be more present and to think about presence differently, to think about being a father differently. And of course, maybe it's crazy, hypocritical. I don't think that's the right word in this case. But perhaps it's crazy for me to be giving out father advice when I'm not even a father. But I think truth remains the only truth. And if what I say is the truth, then it should be the truth regardless of who says it. My first point is a father should be there for their kids. Um, of course, you might not be able to be there every day. You might not be able to physically go to where they are. Maybe you met their mother somewhere while you were away on work, away on vacation, and you guys conceived the kid and you don't stay there. But I think in this day and age, you're fortunate enough to be able to send messages, have video calls, share on Facebook, whatever thing, but whatever way in which you can communicate. You are able to do that now. You may not be able to be there physically, but the technology we have today allows us to be there virtually, allows us to be there in spirit. 30, 50, 100 years ago, people had to write letters. Letters had to take time to get to where got to. We lived in an age where people couldn't read, people didn't really have addresses. It was very difficult for a father in a city or wherever to be able to send messages, letters to their kids, to their families. But it's much easier now, and I think that it's very important that just take a bit away from the amount of time, amount of money, amount of attention that you give to the girls out there and your friends. Just give more of that to your kids. Just that presence, that being there, whether it's physically or whether it's virtually, it means a lot. Yes, I understand that a lot of women, a lot of mothers act as gatekeepers between fathers and their kids. And that is bad. I think that is also something else that should be addressed. But wherever possible, as much as you can, do your best to be there for your kid. You don't have to be spending a lot of money. You don't have to be buying them everything they want. You don't have to be the richest man in the world. You just need to give them your time, give them your knowledge, try to teach them whatever you can teach them, whatever you know, whatever you hope that your dad would have taught you when you were younger, teach them that. Teach yourself stuff, learn stuff so that you can be able to teach to them. Because the education that you can leave them with, the wisdom that you can leave them with, is gonna stick with them for a very long time. Since I was a kid, I never got at my friends. They loved my dad. My dad would come visit me at the hostel in this boarding school that I stayed at. And he'd laugh around with everyone and everyone would be comfortable around my dad. I don't see that as a problem. I don't see that as something special. But I see now that this guy has taught me not to see age, race, gender, whatever, just to see human beings, just to be friendly, just to be kind, just to be present. And it's not a lesson that you can actually write down in a book and say, this is what you must do. It's something that you can be, and then other people see it and be that. And I believe I am that now because of him. So try to teach them to be a better human being. I think it's very important as well that you listen to them. Kids have a lot of questions, kids have a lot to say. They're just very inquisitive. Hence, I go back to the point where I said, try to teach yourself stuff because they're always going to want to know things. I was out for a park run the other day and I caught up with this kid, little young kid. I don't even understand how he runs so fast. Like he flipping runs. He was ahead of me the whole time, and I'm a decently quick runner. This kid's very short. It's like got short legs. Anyway, I'm derailing. As soon as I got to that kid, as soon as I started running next to him, I was like, kid, let's go, let's go. He started asking me questions. He doesn't know me. I'm a complete stranger. It's the first time this kid sees me, and he starts asking questions. And I love it. I love kids. I love it when kids ask me questions. Fortunately, I do know a lot, so I am able to answer a lot of questions. And he asked me questions, and I started answering him. And I didn't care anymore about being faster and getting to the finish line faster to beat my time. What mattered to me at that moment is that I answer the questions that this kid is asking to ensure that firstly he does not lose his inquisitivity. He does not lose his curiosity. He does not lose his trust in adults because kids see adults, all of them as adults. So they look at us and they believe that we know everything, we understand the world, and they're trying to understand the world and they gonna ask us questions. They're gonna ask everyone questions. Why is that the case? Why is that like that? Who is that? What is that? How does this work? And one of the best things that we can do is to try and answer. And whenever we don't know the answer, it is very safe. It is very much okay to say that you don't know. Because what that then teaches to the kid is that there are things that other people don't know. There are things that you don't know. And there are things that they can learn. And you can say, oh no, I don't know. Let's go and find out. And that pushes them even more to understand even more. And I think that it's very important that you teach your children, you love your children, you listen to them, and you care for them. You don't necessarily have to be there physically. You don't necessarily have to splurge out a lot of money for them. I understand that some people don't have the capacity to be there for their children financially. But whatever capacity you do have, be there. Try as much as possible to be there. Like it doesn't have to be you buying that expensive tub of ice cream. Is it 2 kg? I think it is. Just buy 5 rand ice cream. Yeah, sure. Maybe he's used that five expensive ice cream and he's just gonna throw yours in the rubbish bin or whatever. But you just doing the little things, trying to be there. In most cases, your kid still idolizes you. On a personal level, I'd say be strong. You need to be a strong man, train, exercise, be in good shape. The longer you're alive, the longer you can live to see what your kids become, the longer they can be able to have access to you, to learn from you, to suck knowledge from you, to take love from you, receive love from you, to be cared for you, to be cared for by you, and for you to take care of them. The longer you can take care of yourself, the stronger you can be, the better of a man you can teach them to be. Especially if they're boys, you can teach them to be stronger, better men. And if they're girls, you can teach them to appreciate and to love you for that strength. Being a pillar of strength does not necessarily mean being a pillar of strength for your woman. It also means being a pillar of strength for your kids. And when you're strong physically and mentally, you are able to be strong emotionally and you're able to engage with your daughter at an emotional level. And girls need that. They need that. It's a very confusing world to navigate. There's a lot of information coming across from all different directions. One thing that they do need is a strong, mentally fit, mentally strong man that they can look up to, that they can talk to, that can help them navigate the world and help them choose better partners because now they understand what sort of partners exist out there, what sort of human beings exist out there, what sort of men exist out there. And they can model you as a man that they might want to one day be with. It might not be that they want everything that you are, but there may be certain principles that they learn from you that, okay, this is what a man should be. This is what I should be looking for in a man. Not only just a man who's going to be a man for me, but a man who's going to be a good father to his kids, which again is what this whole episode here is based on, is about. And I think the last and important point is you should choose your battles. This goes to everyone, but I'm just going to talk mainly about men, fathers, to choose their battles. We get provoked a lot. We get engaged a lot in a lot of conversation, in a lot of battles, especially from baby mamas or from actual mothers of our kids that we stay with or whatever. We get brought into a lot of battles that we may not be ready for, we may not be prepared for, we may not even need. But I'm saying we here because I'm not a father, but in general, I've seen how the toxicity that exists around the world has now infiltrated deep into the being of a lot of women that they now just want to be that toxic towards a lot of men. And I think that the role of a man, the strength of a man is in controlling the situation, controlling himself, and being able to not match the energy that that woman is coming with, but bring her energy down to a manageable and more civil level. Because kids might be watching, you might say things that might not rub off well on the kids. You might say things that the kids might then take and then become toxic themselves. You might do things that might harm the woman, harm you, but most importantly, again, since we're talking about Father's Day, harm your kids. It can harm them mentally, it can harm them emotionally, maybe even physically. But you have to choose your battles. Be careful about the things you say, be careful of the things you do, be careful of the timing of it. If someone's gonna start shouting at you in front of the kids, someone's gonna start shouting at you in public, just try and be a man, be strong, mentally be strong, emotionally, and just manage the situation. One day I was traveling with a guy and he was saying to me, I don't understand you young guys. He's an older guy. He was talking about young guys, especially. He's like, why do you guys even fight or even argue with women? Like, you don't do that. That's not what you do. They always gonna want your attention. The moment she starts doing that, she really just wants your attention. Give her your attention. Listen to her. Calm her down. Tell her let's go out. Let's go have something to drink. Let's go have something to eat. Be soft. Don't try to match her energy and be hard on her. And I think, of course, there's variations to that, and of course, it's not like a one blueprint that's gonna be a one size fits all. But I understand the point that the angle from which she was coming, that don't go high when she's high. Don't just be there when she's there. That's the whole reason you're a man. That's the whole reason you're the father, to be able to manage situations, to be able to calm things down. Even in the workplace, if you're a manager, and this goes to whether you're a man or a woman, you're a manager, you're a CEO, you're whatever, things can get heated up, things can get crazy. And that's why there's conflict resolution. There's even training for it. You to understand that this is up there, energy is all the way up there. I need to bring this energy down to a manageable state that I can then control and take a handle on, and then ensure that this is dealt with strategically and civilized in a civilized manner. I hope I left you as a better father than you were yesterday. Just try to keep calm. I'm able to say this because all the years that I've lived, my mother has whooped my butt so many times, and I appreciate her for that. It's made me a better man. But my dad he's never even shouted at me. He's not a person who shouts. And I understand that coming from a mother, shouting and being whipped is different than if it came from a father. From a father, it sounds as aggression, it comes across as too much testosterone. It comes across differently than it comes from a mother. From a mother, it does come as love, but from a dad, it comes up differently. And when my dad for all those times, my dad has taken me and sat me down and told me what I did wrong, told me what I need to do, told me how to behave differently, and told me to go and flip and apologize to my mother after she whipped me. All of that stuff has made me a better man, and I appreciate him for that. Again, I say happy Father's Day. Please become better fathers. Please become stronger fathers. Please protect your kids, love your kids, protect them from other people, protect them from information, protect them from things that you don't believe in. If you're a Christian, stuff that you don't believe in, protect them from that. If you're a Muslim, the stuff that you don't believe in, protect them from that. It is very important that you protect your kids physically, but mostly more important that you protect them mentally, because they'll always grow up with that. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate my viewers. I really appreciate my subscribers. And I will see you on the next one. Take Tuesdays tomorrow.